it patch day. Not only is it patch day, but it is patch day before noon, so hopefully when we find groups, they won't know what they're doing either. We want to go in without knowing the mechanics. We don't want to follow people either. Finishing out, part of the fun. Finishing out. Figuring it out, part of the fun. Crystal from beyond. Let's go. Here's my calculations were correct. I knew that at this very spot I would encounter none other than Elif, the hero who saw us through the final days. So certain was I of my math that I stood here for... well, let's not concern ourselves with that. I am Mgg, assistant to one Professor Claudian. We work with the Itioscope to observe the ethereal sea and delve into its myriad mysteries. Some mysteries, though, are beyond even our capabilities to unravel. The strange crystal we but recently discovered, for instance, defies our every conjecture. You've been to the center of the star and far beyond it, however, so we hope that you would see something in this crystal that we academics do not. I beg you lend us your well-traveled eye at Aphoria. Professor Claudian will be eagerly awaiting your arrival. I think I got spoiled by a screenshot on this, that it is a soul crystal. Like one of the convocation memory crystals. Rather, I saw a screenshot that had one of the convocation memory crystals. So that is what I am assuming it is. Of course, they already kind of tipped their hand in preview launch stuff that it's going to involve Elpis. So. Greetings, hero, and welcome to my humble laboratory. I am sure Mgg has already told you plenty about us, but allow me to introduce myself personally. I am Claude. Okay. I must admit I have been nervous about this meeting ever since Mgg set out to find you. For a researcher in my field, there is no greater an honor than to meet the first man in history to travel the ethereal sea and return to tell the tale. The Professor speaks often and at length of your deeds. He has no small number of achievements to his own name. He has peered deeper into the ethereal sea than any other in Charlian. The breadth of his knowledge is peerless. Peerless, perhaps, but for a single man, we must seize this precious opportunity to learn what we can from him, and perhaps crack this conundrum that has stumped the three of us for moons. It was we who peered into the fathomless sea from the Antitower in the Dravanian Highlands. There we spoke with Heidelin and learned of the fate that would befall this star, the final days. Soon thereafter, all research was moved to Labyrinthos, and through the Altioscope did we continue our vigil. As impressive a work as the device is, however, it can glimpse but a fraction of the sea's infinite depths. Which brings us to the matter at hand. Not long after the Exodus was declared, we recovered an unusual crystal shard during a routine observation. It appeared before us suddenly, as if propelled to the surface by some unknown force. We found that it possessed an ethereal density that exceeds that of normal crystals by orders of magnitude. That shape resembles nothing which occurs in the natural world. It was made, not formed. Unfortunately, that was the extent of the information we could glean before we were forced to turn our focus towards the Exodus. The crystal was very nearly forgotten amidst the sudden upheaval. Wasn't that Exodus like hundreds of years ago? But thanks to the efforts of a certain someone, that crisis is now behind us, and we are free to resume our research. Thus did we decide to seek you out, the dauntless adventurer who delved into the unknown and beheld its innermost secrets. And now we would have you see for yourself. Here is the crystal in question. Am I going to show him my Azem crystal? If it resembles aught you have encountered before, even by the smallest degree, please say so. Yeah. Pull out the Azem crystal. Like, yeah, it's one of these. I'm going to think that this isn't Elidibus. I want this to be me, because I still have the Azem crystal. I want this option to have me pull out the Azem crystal and show it to him. As I thought, you do know what this is. Please, tell me everything. Well, that's a lot. How knowledgeable are you about the Sundering, the Final Days, the Ascians, the Ancients? You know, all that. I see. The Ascians use these to transfer their memories to new vessels. Fascinating indeed. It was plain that this crystal was special somehow, but this revelation surpasses even my considerable expectation. Similar artifacts have appeared throughout the ages. Memories of martial techniques manifested as crystalline shards on the battlefield, or storied stones passed from master to student. That's not storied, that's standard gameplay. A comparison between said artifacts and this crystal may prove fruitful first step to unveiling its nature. What do you think, Professor? Ascian memories, windows through which we can gaze upon the Convocation 14. Unlike the crystal in Elif's story, this one does not bear the mark of the Convocation. Who, then, do these memories belong to? More importantly, why were they stored in this particular shard? More importantly still, why was it set adrift on the ethereal sea? Why don't we ask it? Professor! Professor! Guardian! Pick him. Yes? I'm well aware that contemplation is the key to breakthrough, but there is propriety to consider. Have a guest, one you invited explicitly. Must we do this every time? What? Ah, yes, of course, our guest. Terribly sorry. I do so easily find myself unmoored by the tides of rumination. Perhaps a more engaging use of your time with us would be for you to take up that crystal. If indeed there are memories stored within, they may reveal themselves to you upon contact. Echo time? Ooh. Anyone, message, Pandemonium. Faces, grave threat, star. The timing purely based on number of words? That expression does not bode well. What did you see? Oh, not everyone heard it. I'm supposed to go to Pandemonium. Pandemonium? Not a word I have heard before. My knowledge of the ancient tongue serves me. It means all demons. Not a name that inspires optimism, all things considered. In the event that another star-shattering cataclysm is in fact bearing down upon us, I would have the aforementioned examples of crystallized memories in hand. Mgg, Rustad, and trust their procurement to you. If there are more memories to be extracted from this crystal, we will find them. Lucinode. Lucinode? As for you, hero, there is a person I would have you seek, one who has delivered so dire a warning. Your story tells us that this crystal could very well have been made by one of the ancients. If that is the case, then discerning the nature of this pandemonium would require a trip far into the past, to an era before the Sundering. know of only one individual capable of such a feat. A very hero who traversed time to prevent the world's doom. Oh, so everyone knows about that. I must confess, the tales people tell of your adventures beggar belief, and their veracity has been a subject of much debate among my peers. After today's meeting, however, there can be no doubt in my mind that every incredible exploit is fact. So I ask you now, return to the past. Find out what and where Pandemonium is. We need to be concerned about it. Thank you. For the time being, you should keep the crystal in your possession. I do not think you have seen the last of its memories, and more may be drawn out as you approach their source. Safe travels. And may we meet again soon to share our findings. Oh, the crystal itself is going to let us do it? This message. Not if, it's LF. You know. You could easily miss it. Pandemonium. Quickly. Someone just, like, hit me when I arrived? Oh. I fall on. Alright, who are you? Supposed to be a elpis? Look almost like a young Vana. Well, a young male Vana. Oh, of course, apologies. For previous the moment I thought you to be a friend of mine. I realize now that such a notion is preposterous. Alright. Once again, someone who knows Alvin. Told me a falling star would appear before me. I suppose you must be it. Told I did not expect the expression to be so... Alright, who are you, boy? Apologies for not introducing myself properly. My name is Themis. You can see from my bare face, I am not one of Elpis's purpose. Rather, I have come here on an assignment. It has been more or less routine up until this moment. Certainly do know how to make an entrance. Must wonder what brought you here, for it is plain that you do not belong here, or any place I know, for that matter. Wouldn't it be Themis? I'm not gonna say I'm familiar. Also here on an assignment. Here to investigate Pandemonium, perchance. It would not surprise me if you should share a purpose. If so, we may be able to help one another. But first, how did I trouble you you came with my skull? Well, you see, the thing about time travel. I see. I believe that dispels any major doubts I had concerning your intention. Apologies for so intrusive, but you must understand this is an uncommon occurrence. I should hope so. I shall pry no further, for I am well aware that we all have secrets we must keep. Now that doesn't bode well. However, if I may, I would very much like to look at this crystal of yours. Fascinating. While I cannot say much as to what it contains, it is clear that there are memories stirring within. Memories that speak of something gravely amiss in Pandemonium. Alright, you gonna tell me what Pandemonium is, maybe? The facility extends beneath Elpis, and is overseen by the Words of La Habrea. Houses those creations that are highly valued as research subjects, and highly dangerous to the star. Naturally, it is strictly guarded, under constant surveillance. Several days ago, however, an unnatural shift in the flow of its surrounding ether was detected. Soon thereafter, all communications from Pandemonium's I am here as representative of an organization that works directly with the Convocation. I have been tasked with investigating this incident. Now that there is some measure of transparency between us, might I offer a suggestion as to what we should do next? Is it go to Pandemonium? We want crit. Okay, we may discover valuable artifacts. Okay, right. It's how to the tokens. Now then, my proposal is a simple one. Let us journey to Pandemonium together. Our destination is the same, and I suspect the arrangement would work to our mutual benefit. Besides, we would have no trouble gaining us both access. I do hope you agree, or I would be loath to part ways from the falling star I had been waiting for so long. Originally, I had planned to conduct my investigation with a friend I mentioned earlier. He had also noticed the anomaly near Pandemonium, but it only seemed natural that we should investigate it together. However, we eventually decided that it would be unwise for both of us to go. Two members of our organization were seen poking our heads about restricted facilities and raised questions. But friend not Azem, or is Azem part of this other organization? Because Azem is also part of the Convocation. I decided to go alone. He left me with these words: "Fear not, for in my absence a star shall fall before you." While I could not comprehend his meaning at the time, I believe now I understand. He does have a way of being right about these. And so, his hints of what to come are generally more cryptic. I suppose I should have kept my gaze to the heavens. Suffice it to say that I am grateful for your presence either way. As for the matter at hand, we must first gain permission from the Words of La Habrea for entry into Pandemonium. There ought to be a speaker waiting at Anagnorisis. What a fascinating etheric signature. In accordance with the Convocation's request, the two of you have been granted leave to observe Pandemonium. I shall register your ether for the records. From this point on, you may freely come and go from Pandemonium as you please. Now that was a painful process. I take this as a sign that we were meant to conduct our investigations together. Of course, while you have been permitted entry into the facility, the specimens housed inside must be handled with the utmost care. You are to heed the warden's instructions at all times. Killing specimens. Those who conduct their work within the Pandemonium are called warders. Their role with respect to something. Generally, creations that pose a threat to the safety of the star must be undone. However, Words of La Habrea has deemed certain such creations as worthy of further study, interring them within the facility. Those who spend their days in Pandemonium are not merely researchers. They must work tirelessly to ensure that none of their subjects slip their shackles. For all intents and purposes, the place is a dungeon. Perhaps such a comparison arouses frightful images. Pandemonium is a frightful place. I know not the purpose of your investigation. If you discover aught that merits a report, pray do so with utmost haste. Master La Habrea shall guide us upon the proper course of action. It's like... And I take it that means you have detected nothing amiss? Warders have reported nothing that would cause alarm. Minor fluctuations in ether have been observed, but surely Master La Habrea would have acted if they were anything worth worrying about. I see. It appears La Habrea is kept well abreast of the goings-on here. I hope I am not overstepping my boundaries by asking, but you seem to be quite familiar with Master La Habrea. You know him. We've met. That a mere familiar would have had the honor to meet Master La Habrea. He is not known to easily afford others his time. You must be extraordinary indeed to be granted even a moment of it. Furthest, while I doubt I need to tell you this, he is of the convocation. Take care that your actions do not hinder his work. Yeah, about that. I've done a lot of hindering. With that, we are free to make our way to Pandemonium. The naos that will take us there is on the eastern bank of the Leth. Let us not delay further. I believe it said let us delay no further. Alright, Thanos. I had to contain my surprise for the sake of appearances. Is it true that you too have met La Habrea in the flesh? I find you more fascinated by the moment. Still, I shall refrain from asking too many questions. Secrets will make our journey all the more intriguing. We shall come to know each other in time, I wager. Or else why would fate have orchestrated our meeting? In any case, let us be off. Told, this will be my first time holding the fabled Pandemonium with my own eyes. Here's to a new adventure, eh? Oh, okay. I realize he said it's a dungeon, but does it really need this particular aesthetic? As much as I fear. About the evening. The speaker seemed in such high spirits that for a moment I thought the ethereal irregularity not nearly so grave a approach as I had imagined. Alas, it was a fleeting, vain hope. To gaze upon this complex network of chains and wards, the untrained eye might not sense anything awry. No effort has been spared in making this place impenetrable. Hanging cages don't make someplace more secure. Just a place to store your, wards. Even the finest of masterworks is not without its flaws, however. Someone, or something, tampering with the protection, is working from within, goading them from the inside out. Fear not, there's no immediate danger. I reinforced what protections I could the moment we arrived. This will not put an end to whatever is occurring, but it shall at least serve to slow its progress. One small victory, but the road ahead of us is yet long. Yes, powerful forces are at work. So, what are the warders doing inside then? The silence in the air speaks volumes. While I do not expect a bustling facility, I see not a single warder. Our first course of action should be to seek one out, wherever they may be. However, there's something you must know. The magic I wove upon entering requires my constant awareness. That is to say, if we are forced to fight, I cannot risk joining you in that. Should I lose focus? Pandemonium's protections will rapidly crumble before the force assailing them. You were doing okay before you got here. Well, okay-ish. Were there another way, I would gladly choose it. But let us at least be grateful that neither of us is here alone, trapped in hopeless circumstances. We should fail to find a peaceful solution, and I hope that I can rely on your strength to get us through. Odd? Yeah, not surprising. At least you received it with good humor. Rest assured, I do not need to stand by idly while you risk life and limb. I hope to be able to at least find a touch of something. Creation magics do have their uses in that regard. I had it in mind to use your Aether as basis for illusory allies that will fight at your side. Perhaps 7 shall do. Not exactly an army, but by the looks of you, a formidable band nonetheless. Alright, so that is how our allies get. And so shall it be. Now, what, I wonder, awaits us in Pandemonium's pitiless hall? Oh. Alright. I thought we were going to get some sort of reveal about what attacked us. But, I could just go in. Thank you, privilege! Asphodeus. Okay, I'm assuming that is a warder running away from something. Us. What? Appears to be one of the warders we seek, but he is in no state to answer questions. Perhaps you can... Longer than usual cutscene for a dungeon entering. Go figure, the people who are here early, like, all have Trial 2 weapons. Right, let me turn off stance. I have to. It's a normal. Not going to bother. That's a lot more health than me. The only thing I'm missing is accessories. I'm at 570. Get away from that side. That was the correct decision. Guessing that's grade wide. Targeted at a person. And there's a knockback. Toss our go chains with a bit of mitigation. Pertinent. Hide behind this one. Okay. Go to opposite. Oh, I see, I see. Oh, and I mixed up my rotation. There we go. Grade wide. Okay. Ether fail. Okay, got it. Got it. Aether means blue explode. I have messed up my rotation again. Fine. I think this is an arena change back to how it was. Right? Great success. Pertinent. I am currently red, so I need to go to blue. Blue, so I need red. Oh, that's not good. There we go. Everyone's just kind of figuring it out. The tank cluster? Raid wide. Seriously hitting people pretty hard. Another raid wide. Kind of just cluster, reputation. back to the platform change. Okay. I was wrong earlier. For some reason I thought it was a different name, but it's like, what is it? It's like E11, where you have to watch the thing spinning around him. Alright, red is safe. Zone change. I'm gonna skip over the last part of my rotation and go into my magic first window because he dies. I want to. Go. Well, the good news is that ACT is not working, so I don't actually know how bad my damage was when I messed up my rotation a couple times there. Good. Take a ring. Pass on there. Because I haven't gotten accessory. I have gotten the other. Here. Just deciding on what they want to pick. Alright. I got a ring token. Why did I get commendations? I was off tank. I guess people are just happy that I made their queues shorter. That was a thrilling display. And if I may go vaunting, the warriors I spun from your ether fought even more splendidly than I had anticipated. I suppose they were cut from excellent cloth. We should wait until this man regains his senses. Where's the robes of a warder? It would be very curious to know what drove him to attack us, sight unseen. Sirs. I accept my apologies, and my thanks. Had you not knocked some sense back into me, I might have fallen upon someone less capable of defending themselves. I am Ertonius, the warder of a... One must wonder why you were so desperate about happening in Pandemonium. Creations interred within Asphodeus have been set free, stalk its halls to no end but violence. That is not good, to say the least. Ever happened before? No, never. Each level of Pandemonium is under the charge of a key ward, keeps strict control over the most minute aspects of their domain. Selected with great care, their loyalty to Master Lahabrea is absolute. Yet something has gone terribly wrong. Far as we might hold the line, the chaos within is overwhelming. I hardly realized that I had become separated from my colleague. I remember a chorus of whispers assailing my senses, and afterwards only flashes of rage and fury. Blackness, which I woke to find that whatever had overcome me was gone. I see. Your senses may have been muddled by magics that affect the mind, perhaps the self-same ones that saw you separated from the other warders. Whatever had taken hold of me, thank you for releasing me from the clutches. To have come here from the surface must mean some word of our plight has reached the outside world. You know anything that may help? Pray tell. Horror among horrors. Pandemonium's protections are indeed being dismantled from within. By the same individual, or individuals, that released its captives and set them upon you, no doubt. Such knowledge avails us little, however. We cannot ascertain their identity. Emis, was it? You said you worked for an organization under the auspices of Convocation. Were they to receive word of what has transpired here, what measures would they take? I don't know, seal the place off? Kill everything? Doubtless they would consider this place to be a lost cause. Pandemonium's ties to the outside world would be severed, or perhaps it would be wiped from existence entirely. As I thought. For the creatures to escape into the outside world, there would be untold carnage. The words of Lahabrea would never risk that, despite what value the research subjects may hold. All the more reason to work with haste. We can't expect further help. It falls upon me to save the others. I'll not leave them behind. Go alone? I won't leave the other warders to face certain doom. I know they fight for survival even now. They wouldn't abandon their duty. They would see the creatures return to their cells at all costs. Or killed. And I must do the same. Emis, I know the request I'm about to make of you is a monumental one, but please, say not a word of this to the Convocation till I've given a chance to set things right. Forgive my rudeness, but my decision cannot be swayed by emotion. You would only be consigning yourself to an early death. Strength of resolve alone cannot win in the face of overwhelming odds. Now, strength of strength, however. That being said, our investigation has only just begun, and we would be remiss to turn back ere we made an exhaustive survey. So, for the time being, there is slightly more than resolve to rely upon. Yeah, I knew you would be all too eager to join us. Each moment since you fell from the skies has been more interesting than the last. More and more you remind me of my dear friend. Which goes some way towards encouraging me that this matter will yet reach a satisfactory conclusion, and not for a couple patches it won't. So, you agree to help? For the moment, our goals align. Effective magics of Pandemonium yet hold, so for the moment time is in our favor. Let us proceed upon the course you and Hero have set upon us. Artemis and... Oh, yes? Thank you. The warders owe you a great deal. Nods. Nod. We shall be glad to have someone familiar with Pandemonium's halls by our side. A party of 3 is ever so much more entertaining than a pair of 2. Likely to survive. Now let us turn our attention to rescuing your colleagues. Perhaps it would be wise to approach the gates, in case any have followed you out. A party of 3 are also more likely to live, not just more fun and entertaining. More crit! Alright. Erictonios. Not a sound can be heard from within, which means neither creature nor warder has made it this far. We should begin forming a plan to save them at once. Forgive me if I misunderstand, but do you mean to rescue the warders and creations both? Naturally. Although they may be dangerous, they're valuable research subjects. I wouldn't see our labor, our untold hours of study, waste. Clearly you have records. I dare say La Habrea would smile to hear you say such a thing. That is, if we had cause to report this incident. Smile? I'm not sure his face is capable of such warmth. Oh, he smiled for me. Not a friendly one, though. Ah, so you've met him before. I was under the impression he rarely visited Pandemonium. I have, yes. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. That is to say, La Habrea's predecessor in the position of Chief Key Ward. Her name was Athena. She was a researcher with the words. It was she who appointed me to this position, in fact. Wait, are you the Key Warder for the first floor? I see. I did not know there was a Chief Key Ward before La Habrea. Your motivation to save your research subjects is not entirely driven by duty to words, then. You wish also to preserve the work of your mentor. You've the right of it. I'm lacking in ideas of how to go about that, however. I'm a mere warder, and cannot wield internment magic. So who can? Ah, but of course, I can hardly expect you to be versed in the magics we use here. If you recall, during our battle earlier, I bound you in ethereal shackles. Interment is a more refined and powerful magic based upon the same principle. I don't remember being shackled. While both are used to keep our subjects docile, only the key ward of each tier is permitted to use interment. Even if I were allowed, I lack the aptitude to use the spell to any notable effect. Fascinating. I have some knowledge of these forms of spellcraft, actually. La Habrea himself established their foundation, if I recall. While shackles are meant to bind an object in place for a short time, interment freezes the very space around it for as long as the caster will. Indeed, while the illusory beings you summoned in our fight suggest as much, I see your knowledge of magic as perhaps you've already mastered the art of interment, and I've been lecturing you like a child all this time. I'm afraid my knowledge ends there. I have not the precise understanding of how the invocations interact with natural laws that would be needed to cast such spells with any consistency. While I consider myself well versed in various magics, I would be ill-advised to assume the duties of Key Ward without instruction. That being said, if I were to learn more of interment and its inner workings, perhaps. I dare say we can do just that. Erictonios, you implied that what prevented you from performing interment was lack of magical capacity. What if I supplemented your power with my own? Will succeed then? I say for certain. Never heard of such a thing being done. I believe that it may be our best recourse. That is, of course, assuming you can perform the initial rites and incantations flawlessly. Even the smallest misstep and we would have to start over. Sounds like a protect people sort of counter, but that's not generally a thing I've seen at that point. You needn't worry about that. I've seen the spells cast so many times that their motions have been burnt into my memory. I won't disappoint. Very well, let us work out the specifics afterwards. Once we do, we can test out our methods on one of the escaped creatures, though I suppose there is the matter of finding one. I don't think that's a problem. It would be foolish to rush in blindly, lest we find ourselves surrounded with naught but an untested stratagem at our disposal. Nay, I would prefer to engage a single creature that the hero could dispatch on his own if the spell were to go awry. I agree. I may have an idea in that regard. I recall seeing the hippocampus wandering the waterways during my flight. Perhaps it's still there. Few of the subjects housed within Asphodeus are fond of water, and I believe we'll be able to engage the beast without fear of unwanted guests. Then that shall be our first target, or perhaps subject is a better term. Before we commence with the interment magics, the creature should be weakened to a sufficient degree. I believe I can trust you with that task. Yeah. As dependable as ever. Once you have given a thorough trouncing, I shall bind this hippocampus with the keywords magic. Till then, my illusions shall fight by your side. Hippocampus will be alone, but it's a daunting opponent nonetheless. Its magic ward warps the environment around it. It will be at home amidst the waterways. Steel yourself for a fight. Yeah. Second circle. Head appears to be floating above it. More of a standard intro then. Boss walks out, we summon dudes, cut back to a picture of the boss, who apparently is missing its torso. I'm hoping it separates. Alright, if I'm maintaining, I guess I'll eat. Alright, and we're pulling. No warnings, nothing. Alright, murky depth. Like a change of the platform. Nope, just a raid wide. Jared Buster. Then sideways. Well, parts are kind of doing their own thing. Show you. Cause like, I've seen this sort of mechanic before. For your sight, eh? Head came off. Alright. It is doing the thing. There's 2 GCDs in there, though. Alright, so it's gonna nuke that side of the arena. Yep. Yep. Where is it now? That's the raid wide. Tell you that's another raid wide, I think. The raid wide and the put people on platforms bit. Yeah, everyone's spread. Alright, so I don't know what this eruption. Ah, I see. Doesn't affect the tank, it goes on everyone else. Other tank appears to not be having a good time. A lot of raid damage. Alright, so the head comes off. Just gonna arm's length this. Arm's length, hello. Alright, head comes off again. Corruption is one. Oh, and I messed up my rotation. So my dot fighter fighted. No, I was just about to say, it's like, I haven't seen that double buster in a lot. Okay, so red is a half, and yellow is a beam. White mage is putting in work, because the sage is still learning. Ah, screw it. Scare it to death. Oh, my spirit bombs are complete. Excellent. Nice. I knew that you were no mere mercenary. You make such clean work of the hippocampus. Seasoned fighters scarcely have occasion to visit Pandemonium, let alone display their skills. Mastery takes all forms indeed. Needless to say, our plan worked for perfection, no small part thanks to you. Nemesis' power was more than enough to complete the interment. Spellcasting was never my strong suit. That almost made me feel like a proper Magos. Truly? Having seen your abilities firsthand in your fight with Elif, I beg to disagree. Shackles is the one exception. It is only because I've been forced to practice it since I was but a small child. Other magics leave me feeling completely out of my depth. Regardless, it seems luck is on my side. Guide me to you. You may prove the impossible possible after all. Row, row, fight the power. While our success in sealing away the hippocampus is certainly heartening, the fact that we have yet to see any other warders concerns me. The ward of Asphodeus is nothing if not cautious. Doubtless he has gathered what warders he could and retreated to a safe area. Let us hope so. It occurs to me that I know little of the key wards, despite their magical prowess. There ought more you can share. Of course, a man named Hesperos in charge of Asphodeus. Not only does he have thorough knowledge of the creatures here, but takes great pains to be a mentor to each and every of the warders under his care. He has done much to ensure that I flourished here, in spite of my ineptitude in magic, and I have always known him to be the sort of man who faces difficult decisions with unwavering composure. Furthermore, key wards are not only masters of interment, they can also bend the hallways of Pandemonium to their will with creation magic. With all this in mind, I am certain that so long as Hesperos guides them, other warders are. I can see why absolute control over the environs is imperative. Had we faced the hippocampus under arid sands instead of waterways, I suspect the battle would have ended much more quickly. In any case, if this Hesperos is as capable and caring as you say, we would do well to seek him out as soon as we can. He is like as not taking your colleagues to a secure location. The safest place would be the innermost circle of Asphodeus. There, they could flee to Abyssos if hard pressed. Even should they have sought safe haven within the other circles, we will make for the Fourth. Ought to encounter them right away. Indeed, we shall gain a comprehensive understanding of the situation within Asphodeus, which will be essential to determining whether we ought to continue down to Abyssos. The rub, of course, is that I myself possess no power to bend the circles to my will. Instead, we must proceed through the central corridor, which was barred by the Phoenix last I checked. Phoenix. I've heard the name before. Fiery bird with life eternal. Beyond unquenchable brilliance, perfected concept boasts nigh boundless restorative powers, if I recall. Truly an exemplary feat of creation magic. Perfection is ever built on the back of failure, however, and La Habrea suffered countless missteps during his experiments. Oh, so it's one that he specifically made. He was hardly the only one. This Phoenix is but one of many attempts at the concept gone awry. Aye, far from evoking wonder, our Phoenix is a creature of fury and wrath. It seeks only to turn the world to ash. Thus was it confined in Pandemonium. Development of the concept continued elsewhere, but as the moons turned, more and more researchers abandoned the project as an impossibility. Save for La Habrea and his words. When I received word that at long last La Habrea had succeeded where so many others had failed, I was nearly overcome. Pray tell, how did the warders of Pandemonium celebrate their master's accomplishment? Didn't. We were too busy being warders. I don't believe we did. The research of the wards of La Habrea has little consequence to our work here, save for those rare times it charges us with a new specimen. Truth be told, I don't remember anyone making note of the occasion. But enough reminiscing. We must make ready to confront the Phoenix. While it's possible that it flew off to some other wing of Pandemonium, it would make the assumption that at our own peril, better to assume that we'll need to bring Asphodeus' most unruly subject to heel. The Phoenix's power point will avail it far less in a barren corridor than elsewhere, so it may well serve us to subdue it sooner rather than later. Alright. Gonna be the same sort of looking thing as Louis Spa. Going to literally break through the window towards us. Oh. Well, your lead dude's looking like a vampire. Whoever's behind this can alter the space around us at will. Face an uphill battle. Possible. If those were creation magics at work, that means... Let's confront that reality after we have conquered the enemy in front of us. Every drop of our focus shall be required if we are to incur the Phoenix. Oh, that's an angry one. Alright, he started the countdown, so I'm gonna take it to mean he wants main. Goes in a circle. Okay, alright. I didn't see a tell for that. Scorched Exaltation. Right. Wait, no, it's immune. You have to take these and put out the fire with them? Okay, yeah. Okay, good, good. We're learning. No. The other tank is explaining mechanics. We're not doing that. I am learning as we go. Did something about ads, but I don't know what it is, because the patch has not even been out for like 12 hours yet. I am not getting a strategy explained to me. Okay, I see it. Alright, so Dark and Fire cannot be damaged. Alright, right Cinderwing. Good. On his right side. Out of the middle. That looks like a dive bomb. here. Okay, I don't want to stand in that, I don't think. Okay, let's see what we can do about overlapping these as much as possible. Dead Hoover. The ads are coming back? Left center wing. I protest on that. Pretty sure I was out of that. Yes. Alright, so that's a raid wide. Go to the wall. Out of the middle. Still out of the middle. Are they going to cast the same set? Yes, they are. Alright, these are outside. That was, whoa. Wait, where did I get my third bone stack? Alright, I'm fine, I'm on the left. What all is hitting me? Middle? Alright, golden stacks drop in 3 seconds. Yes, excellent. Got a hollowed. Alright, this is edges. Okay, so it looks like off tank gets constantly shelled by the little dude. Exaltation. Experimental char plume. That's new. Oh, I just didn't notice the name of it. Is alright, we are definitely commending healers on this one. This is one where, if ACT were working, I would look and see which healer died less and commend them. As it stands, I'm just going to kind of pick one at random, because I was too busy trying to read things, figure it out. By read things, I mean read mechanics, not like... we'll pick White Mage. shouldn't even roll on rings. I can do Zodiac Extreme for rings. That the Phoenix is shackled once more. However, there is yet the matter of this arena. As you've told us, there is but one person in Asphodeus with the ability and authority to wield such magic. Though, fortunately, it appears he has saved us the trouble of finding him. Contemptible display, as befits an inferior specimen. Even so, I expected it would at least delay your advance. Imagine my surprise when I saw the chains of interment drag the Phoenix back to its cave. Either the bird is even more of a failure than its creators cared to admit, or you are no mean trespassers. They're trespassers? Typo? Or mean as an average. I had hoped our suspicions were misplaced. Got that goth vampire aesthetic going. You ward Hesperos, why? Why have you brought such chaos to your beloved Pandemonium? Pandemonium, pitiless, impenetrable, utterly steadfast, unlike those charged with it. Possessed you? I don't understand. Oh, Erictonios, must you pester me with these inane questions? Think yourself. Surely you can muster a theory or two with that dim wit of yours. And again, I've never been one for insight. Why Master Lahabrea suffers your mediocrity, I will never understand. You may look like him, but you're not Hesperos, I know. Something has warped you, too, the inside out. Keyword I knew had compassion for all those under his charge, be they clad in robes or shackled in chains. Was all that a farce? Did you hide your contempt for us all these years? Those who are content to merely glimpse the water's surface are doomed to be dragged into its depths. Prove my opinion of you with every word. My mind is clearer than it has ever been. Even now, seeing you feebly grasp for answers makes the bile rise in my throat. Such wasted. Be son to Master Lahabrea, yet no more skilled with magic than a newborn babe. Of course, it's always about Lahabrea. Silence. You are not worthy to utter his name. For once, be grateful to witness a feat beyond your meager abilities, beyond your shallow reckoning. I have slipped the surly bonds of mortality. I thought they were already immortal. I have become one with our mythic creations and rid myself of imperfections. I stand upon the threshold of godhood. As a Hemitheos, I shall serve Master Lahabrea, ever faithful. He shall require no other. Trying to inter us? So blinded by arrogance, they have lost sight of what it means to serve. Erictonios is more capable than you could ever know. It was thanks to his instruction that I was able to master the art of interment, both how to wield it and how to break free of it. Let us quit this place. Whatever poison has corrupted Hesperos' mind, it is plain his power far eclipses our own. We must have time to gather our strength. Also, he's not the Circle 4 boss? Solar Flare! Weaklings though they may be, it takes a singular aptitude to master interment so quickly. Say nothing of how swiftly that familiar laid low the feet. Regardless, their noble aims will be their undoing. While they fritter away their strength in calming the beasts of Asphodeus, I continue my work. And should they survive long enough to reach the heart of my domain, Naught shall await them. Eagerly await your arrival, Erictonian. Dullards have their use. Okay. My darkest suspicions have been realized. Face the keyword as Asphodeus himself. More than the revelation, however, Erictonios worries me. He loved Hesperos for his compassion, received naught but scorn from whatever the keyword has become. He has said little since our return. I only hope that the shock of recent events does not prove to be a death knell for his resolve. Or crit. Miss would offer what comfort he can to Erictonios. Much as I am loath to disturb Erictonios so soon after what just occurred, I am afraid circumstances do not afford us the luxury of time. Perhaps it will do him well to speak about recent events, concerning both the keyword and his mother. The creation of the ward which surrounds Pandemonium was an astounding feat of magical prowess, a feat accomplished by none other than La Habrea. Both my father and I can bind others in chains is perhaps the only thing we have in common. Ah, so it is true. I am La Habrea's son, bereft of his talent for magics or his brilliant mind, but his son nonetheless. Surely this doesn't come entirely as a surprise to you. Nay, I had an inkling when you said you had practiced ethereal shackles since childhood. Assuming you haven't been employed here quite that long, it had to indicate some long-held connection to La Habrea. La Habrea that taught me how to cast ethereal shackles, that was it. My further education was overseen by the words of La Habrea. More specifically, my mother was a researcher then. Did speak of Athena, the chief key warden of La Habrea. He is your, mother, perhaps? How astute. I can see now why you were chosen to lead the investigation. You have the right of it. Athena was my mother, and it was she who invited me to join her here. La Habrea had nothing to do with it. I see there is little love lost between you. What I cannot see is why La Habrea has appointed chief key warden when another was already in place. Was in. My mother is not. La Habrea was all too eager to assume her responsibilities. Nary a moment spared to mourn her. What loved by whom now, when he offered not one drop of compassion then? Ah, I see. He is no longer with us. An expression to convey the end of a life. I have known only the public face of La Habrea, while he is lauded for his ability to maintain composure in the face of unnerving circumstances. Must admit that oft he comes across as cold. Apologies. Can we speak of something else? The topic isn't an easy one for me to discuss. Also, stuff is happening. Of course, no more pressing matters at hand after all, namely how to deal with Hesperos. We've yet to see the other warders. Judging by what we know, we can surmise that Hesperos has confined them somewhere beyond our grasp, or killed them. And now that he is aware of our presence, he will be preparing for our next encounter. We cannot expect to face him on equal footing. Quite the opposite, in fact. Every moment we spend chasing after the creations is another moment Hesperos can contrive another advantage for himself. The wisest course would be to find him first and foremost. Said that he has become one with the creations. Perhaps that means he is vulnerable to interment. In theory, that should be possible. However, it is enough merely to confine him, after all he has done. I need to know why. I need to know what drove him to forsake everything he worked for. Was it all truly so that he could serve his master? In my mind, he's merely put La Habrea's own work at risk in trade for some nebulous power. La Habrea is the chief keyword of Pandemonium. How would throwing it into disarray win his favor? It doesn't make any sense. Sure your curiosity, but we must consider that our enemy has us at a disadvantage in every sense. What do you think? Do we seek to put him in fetters, or is it too dangerous to allow him quarter? It'll be fine. Like, if it fails, I can still kill him. Daring as ever, I see. I know not which trials you faced in your past, but you're so certain all the convincing I need. Very well, let us try that plan. See if I can shed some light on the nature of our foe. When Hesperus spoke with us, I noticed he bore the telltale fangs of a beast which feeds off the ether of its prey. Likely that is the creation Hesperus merged his essence with. We know all too well that he can change the environment around himself at will. The battle will not be an easy one, but I believe in our victory. Oh. Alright. I'm assuming some sort of mental stuff. Some sort of bind jack, like run this way, like hand over the head, something. Got stance on. That's early. So we open with the tank cluster. Okay, so we can throw his cloak to cover a quarter of the arena. Fine axe. Swirly thing under him. That's unfortunate. Everyone else here has already done it. Okay, so I'm betting that we do different things, like get close or get away, depending on... That looks watery. Gonna wash away. Betting a knockback from it. Oh, a knockback from him. Oh. Back on me. You're facing a certain direction. Strength Buster? Fine. That's fine. Alright, so that's knockback. That's death. Alright, so we have knockback. Alright, it's the green one. Don't know what the green one does. Alright, green one is spread. This one is be far away. Coil. That has a tank symbol on it. Wait, that has an anti-tank symbol on it. Treasure's down, but let's see what other mechanics we can see. Ah, I see. Ah, aha, aha. I said my theory, but it looked like someone was about to explain something, so I left party chat. Or rather, I switched over to not do it. I'm deliberately not reading the strat. Because it's clear that someone is explaining based on knowledge, not based on we just figured this out. Fortunately, we now know. We figured out that green is spread, lightning is be far away, water is knockback. When he does towers, they are anti-towers. Bloodrake is a raid wide. When he says like northerly or easterly thing, if it's a sword, it's going to be a big cone. If it is a it's a fang, it's a knockback. We didn't live long enough to see where there is anything else. Got Stanson. Oh. Okay. He turned off stance, so I turned my stance on, and now he turned his stance back on. That there. Right, but I'll turn my stance off. Fine. If he wants to MT, he can have it. That lets me figure out mechanics easier. Alright, so is he going to open with the lightning again? And I believe that we also discovered that this is the death sword. I don't remember what declaration. Okay, just rate damage. So, if it follows the same pattern as last time, this will be knockback. Water. It's just like snapping direction, that's fine. Oh, that was the wrong button. Messed up my rotation. That goes off first. Lightning goes off it. Now the knockback. Rotation is still somewhat scuffed, but grade wide will be 5 rotation out a little bit. Healing day one is always pain. Power's done much easier that time. Don't use dot combo. Standard combo. Alright, this is the big cone. Don't walk into the fall. Both healers down, but one of them had gotten a raise. Something burst, so I'm assuming those blow up. Oh, we have to eat other people's. I'll eat this anti-DPS one. What's the wrong button? Fire is new. Water next. That's knockback. That's my bad. A little bit. I'm sacrificing my DPS. Try to do bot healing and keep the stores alive. Yep. Take that healer LB3. Seems like a good plan to me. This time. Close to the end here. Probably just repeat mechanics. See what order they come out in this time. Could make things touch it. Other people's goal to get away from me because I'm tanking. Knockback next. Back. Back to goals first. Okay. Like, are we gonna greed? It's like, I was running away because I was not paying attention to health, I was paying attention to mechanics. Recommended the healer who got the LB off. Now, Temis, we end this here. Fools, I will not be shamed. Think that I would fall before one such as you. Perhaps I should have treated you as more than a mere nuisance. Despite your victory, you shall never have the knowledge you seek. The secrets of my transformation, the secrets of my deception, they shall return to the star with me. We're wasting our breath, Hesperos. We have the upper hand now. Surely you can see that. He just said he's going to kill himself, so we can't question him. Yes, yes. My repertoire is not exhausted yet, however. Though I have failed, my end shall be on my turn. I remain loyal to my very last. Come what may, I die. How did you not understand when he said that they're going to return to the star with me? That means he's going to kill him. How did your ambition lead you so astray? We're better than that. Your star shone more brightly than any other in Pandemonium. Had Lahabrea's respect. Thus, what more did you seek? You would forsake all that. Sully your legacy besides. Well, looks like we want to go to Abyssos. That won't be until 5-2, I believe. So, got a while. He was so blinded by his own desires that he lost sight of his duty. In the end, he lost everything. Plans lie intact. I fail to see any dignity. Even so, I would have liked to know why he chose this path. Theros' infatuation with your father was his undoing. Perhaps he was jealous that fate had chosen you, and not him, to be Lahabrea's son. So terrible did his jealousy become that he sought verboten power, power that Lahabrea would be unable to ignore. How does the pursuit of respect warp one's heart set? How does infatuation with one person turn into contempt for someone else? Never heard of such a thing. It's not that uncommon. I do understand what it is to have a beacon you follow in dark times, a person you trust to guide you true. How is it to desperately wish their light would fall upon you again? I'm assuming he's talking about Athena, not Lahabrea. But we have spent enough time assuming the intentions of the departed. There are the living to consider. Must find the other warders and round up the remaining creations forthwith. Of that, at least, certain. I believe I can be of help in that matter. The influence of Hesperos' magic is fading throughout Asphodeus. Now is the perfect opportunity to seize control of the facilities and restore things to their original state. Seize control? Can you really do that? What is this presence? Heractonios, what lies beyond that threshold? That's the passage which connects Asphodeus to Abyssos. Why? Be on your guard, you two. Now that Asphodeus is free of obstructions, I can more easily sense disturbances at lower levels. Something stirs in Abyssos. warding sigil? How? Let us return to the gates for now. I should like to apprise the situation from there. Needless to say, our investigation is far from over. Although we have defeated Hesperos, it appears that we have but scratched the surface of Pandemonium's troubles. My head is still swimming with questions. Could this mean that Hesperos wasn't actually behind this? It is a stark possibility, yes. The root of this crisis may lie somewhere much deeper than even Abyssus. When we first encountered you said the memories of your escape were vague and that your senses were muddled. I believe this was more than the result of a panicked mind. You were made to feel this way by a powerful magical influence. It is possible that that same magic could have poisoned Hesperos' heart, twisting his affection for La Habrea into a burning obsession. Then, in his altered state, he was made an offer of power he could not refuse. Wait, are you suggesting that someone else turned Hesperos into that thing? If so, it stands to reason that they wouldn't stop at him. Indeed, our mysterious mastermind does not lack for subjects for its experiments, or more potential Meteion. Meteion? What you're saying is true, then my colleagues are doomed to share the same fate as Hesperos. Not really. Depends how long we have. Do not lose heart yet, Ergonos. Hesperos challenged us alone, and that tells me that the process of his creation was a long and taxing one. He was the first Hemitheos, and the rest of the warders are likely still alive. However, much as I would like to hasten deeper into Pandemonium, the way forward is sealed off. We must focus our efforts on finding a way through. With the creation still having free reign of Asphodeus, that won't be easy. On the contrary, I yet retain control of these circles, and thus can wield interment magic within their halls at will. Creatures will pose no threat to us. Just like that, there's nothing stopping us from returning order to Asphodeus. Just so. I shall require your expertise in keeping the peace after the subjects have been returned to their confinement, however. You are Asphodeus' sole remaining warder, after all. Truth be told, I did not expect this investigation to become so involved. Of course, I would like to resolve matters here without resorting to outside help, but... You mean to send a report to La Habrea? It's too soon to say. Let us first find a way into Abyssus. It would be best to withhold our judgment until we have ascertained the whereabouts of the other warders, the identity of the party responsible for their disappearance. Agreed. Even so, if it means saving a single life within Pandemonium, I am not above asking La Habrea for help, should it come to that. Recent discoveries certainly paint Hesperos' actions in a new light. The number of unknown events in this investigation grows. We must proceed forward with the utmost caution. To that end, Erictonius and I shall remain here for the time being. Much as I enjoy your company, I do not believe that we shall be needing protection so long as we remain in Asphodeus. You take this time to rest. Surely you're weary, and there may be more battles ahead of us. Nemesis' burden may grow heavier in your absence, but he's shown that he's more than capable to bear it. Still, I would help wheresoever I am able. All I've achieved so far has been thanks to you two, and I mean to repay the debt I owe. I don't know what use I can be outside of placating the creatures, but I'll find a way. Nonsense. You owe us nothing. It was thanks to your knowledge of the magics that which govern this place that we were able to come this far. Elsewise, we would likely have succumbed to the hippocampus's assault. Each of us has arrived at this dire pass by separate paths, but it is only by combining our respective expertise that we will reach the end of it, see Pandemonium say. Thank you, Themis. Asphodeus' words seem to have affected me more than I realized. Together we've come this far. Together we'll reach the end. I have no doubt we will. Even so, let us allow Elef his rest. Besides, you have someone awaiting a report on your progress, yes? I dare say your story will be much more than they ever imagined. Welcome. Back from the past, none the worse for wear, I see. Oh, what did you find? Well, about that. We got a lot. Like a lot. Though there is evil afoot in Pandemonium, an already ominous place, I may say, mythic beasts and missing warders, truly we are fortunate to see you return to us in one piece. It appears the voice Elef heard from the crystal spoke the truth. As for who left it behind, why, those are yet questions answered. Indeed, it could be someone who lived among the ancients, or it could be someone trying to avert a tragedy from the future. Much remains shrouded in mystery. Yet ilm by ilm we shall unveil that mystery. Help of Elef, of course. By his actions was the fabric of the past reshaped, yet he returns to the same present he left. To mean one thing. His intervention in Pandemonium's crisis is but one of the countless building blocks of history upon which our present has been built. Ah yes, the anti-free will. There is no telling what consequences would arise if we stopped pursuing this matter now. Whatever plot is unraveling within Pandemonium, we must not let it reach its conclusion. If one of those creatures should escape, what ripples would carry forth to the future? It might wreak havoc upon the world of the ancients. Their despair would leave an indelible mark upon history's pages. That despair would only feed the terrible beasts that arose during the final days. The first final days already had a drastic effect on the eons that followed. The scars it left were made even deeper, then we risk losing our present entirely. Whatever the cost, our connection with the future of elpis must be preserved. I know I have asked much of you already. I count on you to continue your work in Pandemonium. Your tireless efforts are much appreciated. If there is aught we can do to ease your burden, you need only say the word. Speaking of which, might you return the crystal into our keeping? While we cannot accompany you to the past, perhaps something can be gained by researching it further. It shines just as splendidly as the day we met. We shall begin work right away. I cannot promise any meaningful results for some time. And as matters in Elpis seem to be in a similar state, I must ask that you rest. But before that, allow me to make an introduction. As our research moves into its critical stage, I found it only suitable to recruit another assistant. Eileen is an expert in armaments from throughout history, be they from far-flung past or made in the most modern forges. Find aught of interest in your adventures, bring it here, and she will be glad to offer her service. I couldn't stick her in Razatan. We know researchers in numerous fields that would love to get their hands on artifacts from bygone eras. We'll give you goods in return that should aid you in trials ahead. Furthermore, if you ever wish to peruse the records of events you have reported here, Mjinji has taken faithful and thorough notes. It is at your complete disposal. Sense that we have embarked upon something monumental, something that will dwarf all else I have accomplished in my many years of research. I can think of no greater honor, nor reassurance, to have your capable assistance in this endeavor. If there is anything to be found that will contribute to your success, we shall find it. We shall not rest until we have unlocked the mysteries of this crystal. You will be the first to know when we do. And we will get... Oh, that was Pandemonium. Decent. 1122 on attempts. Interesting mechanics. Time to go back into D4 and get my helm.